Welcome to the Bookworm Bindery with Cathy-Lynn. I'm in the midst of a project where I'm taking downloadable printables for my journals. I'm making a witch book, and a junk journal with a witch theme. And I printed this on the back side of it was a science lab book. Probably self-printed right at the college. I think this was a class at the U of A 100 years ago. And so the blank side was printed on, but not upside down. I'm sure I printed it right side up. The back, I have been playing with these. I've been doing collage over them. Some of them are mostly plain. So, for instance, this page, the backside just has just a little bit in the middle, and that was, that would be really easy once it's folded in half, and in the, sewn into the junk journal. This side would be blank. It could be used for writing on or anything. This side would have a little bit of writing on it. Text, and so I could just put something over that and then still have place to write or collage or what have you. But some of them are really full. So what I'm going to do, let me bring these in, is I have taken these, and you can see that it's covered. I just took tissue paper, and when I get tissue paper in any packaging or presents or anything like that, I just lightly, it usually comes in the bags wadded, like in a gift bag. So I just kind of lightly keep it in that wadded shape and tuck it in a container. It's a hanging shoe rack that goes in a closet, and I just use that for papers. That's important to keep it up and off the ground and out of the way of kittens, because my boys are not really kittens anymore. They're 3 years old, but paper is their favorite thing. So here, the paper is on. I haven't cut it off. I like to let it dry a little bit. So the first one I showed you just there had been done. And once I did this one, then I went back and I cut that one. Okay, so cut that in a minute. So then from there, I just took a brush. Actually, I did both the cotton dauber and a brush. These cosmetic brushes, to go over them. I actually feel like the brushes did better at coverage than the dauber. So here's one that's been done in black. Here's one that's been done in sepia. And let me turn this one over. Really, I promise I did not print them upside down. Lots of these have black in them. They all have little bits of sepia and tans and peaches. And some of them, little bits going everywhere, some of them have turquoises. And I had this turquoise, so I'm going to cover one or two of these in a turquoise. And then I'm not sure what I'll ink over, probably black. I don't think I'd like the sepia or a coffee or something like that. Okay, so I was playing with this and I thought, I'll bring you in on it. So, glue stick of choice. I do recommend permanent glue stick over like a kid's glue stick for school. I do have, over my cutting mat, I do have a cheapy cutting mat. I think I picked them up at Ace Hardware. And that's what I use as a glue board. And I just kind of ran the glue over this quite honestly, it feels like I'm getting every bit of coverage. But when I go to lay the, get this last edge right there. When I go to lay the tissue paper over it, I find that I've missed places. So I'm like, okay, fine, I don't care. It just adds to the texture. Okay, sorry for the crinkly noise. Crinkly noise. So now I'm just going to kind of pull this out. I'm not going to worry about getting all those wrinkles out. I want some of them. I'm going to lay this down and then mush it. Like I said, I like the wrinkles. I don't want to try to get them off all the way. I missed this edge right here. So, I don't think I can pull it. So what I'm going to do is I just tore a little edge off. Because you really don't want that. Oops, I really don't want that white there. Now that I twisted it down, I'll twist it back. I'm just going to come over. I don't know if you can see that. There you can now. Just going to touch over that. Using the last of my Yoo-Hoo sticks, which I bought after I couldn't get the Scotch Create permanent glue stick. I'm sort of still hoping that they will start making it again. The Scotch permanent white does not do the trick. It's wetter than the Create was, so it causes your papers to buckle and bubble. Honestly, the Yoo-Hoo is not a lot better. It's a little better. But I was hoping I wouldn't. I bought a whole case of it. I was hoping when these 12 sticks were gone, by then, Scotch would have said, okay, fine. Everybody's clamoring for our glue. We'll bring it back. Where there are wide foldovers, I am going to glue those down. So the plan for this is, once the glue is dried and the ink is dried where I've inked over, is now this is going to be ready for pockets. I want to try stenciling over this. So, you know, once this is dry, then I can play with that. I do like to have it dry before I cut around the edges. Let me move the glue mat. I did see that this corner did not get glued nicely. And I'm not going to do that on my cutting mat. I'm just going to do this out in the air. Like, wow. So, very in control. Okay. So, just playing with methods that will allow me to utilize old, okay, bring it in. These little bits do go everywhere. But I'm keeping them because I think that when I finish with this is the last piece on my desk of the white. Then I may cover one and then, you see that right there? It's much brighter. The black is much more intense. I have a section right in the middle that the paper didn't get covered, and I don't care. I don't think it'll be noticeable. And once I put something over it, whether that is a pocket or, I should put this down a little bit, or a belly band, or, I don't know, a cluster. So I'm in the midst of doing my Halloween books, just starter junk journals. So they're kind of they're put together, they're themed, and there's lots of space to add on to. They'd still be great as a primary journaling journal, like, you know, to actually write in and do that sort of thing, and we just have decorative pages and, you know, an obvious theme, but could still be primarily used to write in. Or can certainly be added up. And if they don't move, I've got a couple of craft shows coming up, and I'm hoping to get into a local craft retail store that opens, I don't know, a month and a half ago, for little spaces for crafters to be able to rent a place and have things out for sale in a brick and mortar store instead of, I don't know, I guess Etsy or some other venue such as that. So I thought it would be interesting. I do have them for sale in my shop, and I do craft shows. So there's that one. So that one's ready to be inked. You know what? I'll just ink it right now. We'll do coffee bean. Okay. This is an old. Had it for a very long time, this ink pad. Oh, all right. Now I'm going to take a big piece of paper. This was, I don't know, it was over some art paper or something. It was, packaging for art paper. And I thought, oh, I'm going to keep this and use it to do a masterboard. But until then, I am going to use it as an ink pad. Usually when you do your masterboards, they end up, oh, good grief, they end up getting pretty much completely covered, so it won't matter if there's ink under it. And if it does actually have little spaces between the things that I put on the masterboard, then there'll be some ink shining through. And okay, shining probably isn't the right word, but showing through. It'll add depth and character. Okay, so that kind of gives you the gist of taking paper from, it doesn't matter where you get this, what kind of textbook or workbook in this case. It's fine that it has words on it. I actually even printed, some of my printables off on the side with words. And it was fine. It looks cool. It's a junk journal after all, right? So there we go. Whoa. So this, let's look at colors. This is the archival coffee bean. And this one is sepia. This is definitely a little redder than this one. I was just curious. I just grabbed it to see. I was thinking I could do, I have some green in the archival. So this is the Ranger archival. The other one is called Brilliance. And this is one that I've had for, honestly, probably 20 years. I don't remember buying it. I cannot think what I got it for. But there it is. And I was thinking maybe I'd try the library green, but not in this video. So now I can go through and ink up the others. Yep, maybe, unless I knock stuff over. A lot of these have some blue in them, so this is more blue than the teal, but this was a really cool collection that I purchased. I don't remember if I got this off of Etsy or if I got it through Ko-fi. I usually call it coffee. That's good enough for me. So when I go to do this one would be really, really nice with the sepia, I think, on the back. Although I don't know that it matters because you're adding things to this, and then you're folding them all up and you're putting them into the book, and I don't know if that kind of detail ends up actually showing. Well, thank you very much for coming along. I do want to remind you, if you haven't subscribed, to go ahead and do so and hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video. If you have subscribed and you haven't hit the bell yet, go in and just choose all. I don't put out that much in the way of content, but that way you will get notified when that comes up. and I don't know, go forth and have fun.